Every morning, it starts the same way. You open your eyes, roll slightly to one side, and before your feet even touch the floor, there it is, that familiar tightness deep in your lower back. Not sharp enough to panic, not strong enough to stop you, but persistent. Like your body is reminding you that something isn't right. You sit up carefully, testing your spine. Standing takes a second longer than it should. The first few steps feel stiff, almost mechanical, as if your body needs time to warm up, just to function normally. If you sit for too long at breakfast, the discomfort creeps back in. If you bend down to tie your shoes, your lower back protests quietly but firmly. Maybe you've already tried to fix it. Painkillers that dull the sensation but never solve the problem. Stretching routines that feel good for a few minutes, only for the ache to return by evening. A doctor's visit that ends with a vague diagnosis, muscle strain, aging, too much sitting. You're told to strengthen your core, rest more, or accept that this is just part of getting older. But deep down, something doesn't add up. If the problem were really your back, why does the pain always come back? Why does it feel worse after sitting, driving, or working at a desk, but slightly better after moving around? Why does your lower spine feel compressed, as if it's carrying a weight it was never designed to hold? What if your back isn't the problem at all? What if the pain you feel is only a symptom, a warning signal, pointing to something else entirely? Something deeper, quieter, and almost never mentioned. A hidden imbalance that builds slowly, day after day, while you sit, work, rest, and live your life. An imbalance that doesn't announce itself loudly at first, but gradually pulls your body out of alignment until discomfort becomes your new normal. Before you try another stretch, another treatment, or another temporary fix, it's worth asking one crucial question. What if the source of your lower back pain isn't where the pain shows up, but somewhere your attention has never been directed at all? For years, we've been taught to look at pain in a very direct way. If your knee hurts, the knee must be the problem. If your shoulder aches, something must be wrong with the shoulder. And if your lower back is tight, sore, or inflamed, then naturally the back becomes the focus of every solution. Stretch it, strengthen it, support it, medicate it. But the human body doesn't work in isolated parts. It works as a system where one area silently compensates for another. In that system, the lower back is rarely the original troublemaker. More often, it's the structure that absorbs stress when something else has already gone wrong. Think of your spine like a tower built from perfectly stacked blocks. When the foundation is level, the tower stands tall with very little effort. But if the base tilts forward even slightly, every block above it must shift to keep the structure upright. The weight doesn't disappear, it just gets redistributed in unhealthy ways. Over time, the pressure concentrates where the structure is weakest. In the body, that foundation is your pelvis. And modern life constantly nudges it out of position. Hours of sitting at desks, in cars, on couches, and on planes gradually pull the pelvis forward into an unnatural tilt. When that happens, the lower spine is forced to arch more than it was designed to. The vertebrae compress, the joints jam together, and muscles that were meant to support movement become overloaded, simply trying to keep you upright. This is why back pain often feels worse after sitting and slightly better after gentle movement. Movement temporarily restores balance. Sitting locks the body into a distorted position where the spine carries stress it was never meant to handle. Seen this way, lower back pain isn't a failure of the back itself. It's a compensation, a warning sign that the foundation below has shifted. Until that foundation is addressed, no amount of stretching, strengthening, or treating the back alone can create lasting relief. Hidden deep within the body is a muscle most people have never heard of, yet it plays a decisive role in how you stand, walk, sit, and even how safe your nervous system feels. This muscle is the psoas, a long, powerful hip flexor that connects your lower spine directly to your legs. Unlike surface muscles you can see or easily stretch, the psoas lies close to the spine, the organs, and the nervous system itself. When you sit, the psoas shortens. When you sit for hours every day, it adapts to that shortened position. Over time, it forgets how to fully release. Instead of lengthening when you stand or walk, it remains partially contracted, pulling constantly on the front of your pelvis and the lower vertebrae. This quiet tension is enough to tilt the pelvis forward and place continuous compression on the lower spine. But the influence of the psoas goes far beyond simple mechanics. Because of its deep location and direct relationship with the lumbar spine, the psoas is highly responsive to stress. When your body perceives threat, pressure, or chronic mental tension, this muscle tightens instinctively, preparing you for movement or defense. In modern life, that response rarely gets discharged. Deadlines, screens, noise, and constant stimulation keep the nervous system on alert, and the psoas stays braced even when no physical action is required. This is why many people notice their lower back pain worsening during periods of emotional stress, poor sleep, or mental overload. The body doesn't distinguish clearly between physical danger and psychological pressure. To the nervous system, both demand readiness. And the psoas, acting like a silent guardian, holds tension in an attempt to protect you. Over months or years, this creates a body that is always slightly braced, slightly pulled forward, slightly out of balance. The lower back absorbs the consequences, but the true driver remains hidden beneath layers of muscle, habit, and unrecognized stress. Until this deep muscle is acknowledged and addressed, the body continues to fight itself in silence. Because the pain shows up in the lower back, most solutions are designed to chase the pain itself. Painkillers reduce inflammation and dull sensation, offering short-term relief while leaving the underlying tension untouched. The discomfort fades just enough for daily life to continue, but the body remains locked in the same dysfunctional pattern. Even well-intentioned exercise routines often miss the mark. Strengthening the lower back without addressing the imbalance below is like reinforcing a wall while the foundation keeps sinking. The muscles may grow stronger, but they are still forced to operate from a distorted position. Instead of restoring balance, the body simply becomes better at compensating, until it can't anymore. Stretching can feel relieving, but without a clear sequence, the relief rarely lasts. Stretching the back while the hip flexors remain tight is temporary at best. The moment you sit again, drive again, or return to the same daily posture, the pelvis is pulled forward and the spine returns to compression. The body always defaults to its strongest habit. Massage and manual therapy can loosen tissues, but unless the nervous system learns a new pattern, tension quickly rebuilds. The muscles relax on the table, then tighten again as soon as life resumes. Nothing has taught the body how to hold itself differently. The common thread in all these approaches is not that they are wrong, but that they are incomplete. They focus on isolated parts rather than the sequence the body actually needs. Release what is overactive, reawaken what has gone dormant, and then allow the system to reorganize itself. Without that order, treatments offer comfort, not change. Lasting change begins not with more effort, but with better order. The body follows clear priorities, and when those priorities are ignored, even the best techniques fall short. Before a structure can become strong, it must first be free. Before movement can feel stable, the system must feel safe. This is where most approaches fail. They try to build strength on top of tension. The first principle is simple, but often overlooked. Muscles that are chronically tight cannot be strengthened into balance. Tightness must be released before stability can emerge. When the hip flexors remain shortened, asking the body to stand taller or engage the core only increases strain. True correction begins by allowing the front of the hips to soften so the pelvis can return toward a neutral position. The second principle is reactivation, not compensation. When certain muscles dominate for too long, others quietly shut down. In the case of chronic lower back pain, the glute muscles often become passive while the lower back works overtime. No amount of stretching will fix this imbalance if the muscles meant to support the pelvis never rejoin the conversation. The body must be reminded which muscles are supposed to carry the load. The third principle is space, not force. The spine thrives on gentle, controlled movement that creates room between its segments. Forcing flexibility or aggressively stretching only adds more pressure to a system that is already overloaded. When the pelvis is free and the right muscles are awake, the spine can decompress naturally through simple, rhythmic motion. These three principles, release, activation, and decompression, work together. Change the order, and the body resists. Follow it, and the system begins to reorganize itself almost automatically. This is not about fighting pain, but about giving the body the conditions it needs to restore alignment on its own. When these principles are applied in the right sequence, the process doesn't need to be long or complicated. In fact, simplicity is what allows the body to respond most effectively. The entire reset can be done in about 90 seconds, not as a workout, but as a daily recalibration. The first 30 seconds are dedicated to opening the front of the hips. This isn't about forcing a deep stretch or chasing intensity. It's about positioning the body so the hip flexors are gently encouraged to lengthen while the torso remains upright and relaxed. Slow, steady breathing plays a critical role here. Each exhale signals safety to the nervous system, allowing the muscles to release without resistance. Done correctly, there is a sense of space appearing in the front of the body and often an immediate softening in the lower back. The next 30 seconds shift the focus to the muscles that should have been doing their job all along. When the glutes engage properly, the pelvis gains support from behind, reducing the constant pull on the lower spine. This activation should feel controlled and deliberate, not rushed. The goal isn't height or effort, but clarity, teaching the body where strength belongs. Many people are surprised to discover how weak or unresponsive these muscles feel at first, a clear sign of long-term compensation. The final 30 seconds are used to lock in the change through gentle spinal movement. Instead of holding static positions, the spine is guided through slow, deliberate flexion and extension. This creates space between the vertebrae, encourages circulation to the discs, and helps the nervous system register a new, safer alignment. The movement should feel fluid and unforced, like oiling a stiff hinge rather than bending it into place. Together, these 3 short phases create a conversation the body understands. Tension is released, support is restored, and the spine is given room to breathe. Repeated daily, this simple sequence becomes less of an exercise and more of a ritual, a reminder to the body of how it was designed to organize itself. What follows is often subtle at first, but unmistakable once you notice it. Within the first day or two, many people report a sense of lightness in the lower back, as if pressure has been quietly lifted rather than forcefully removed. Standing up from a chair feels smoother. The initial stiffness in the morning doesn't grip as tightly or last as long. As the days continue, the body begins to adapt in small but meaningful ways. Sitting for extended periods becomes more tolerable, not because the body is enduring discomfort better, but because it is no longer being pulled into the same distorted position. Movement feels more fluid. Walking requires less effort. Even posture changes without conscious correction as the pelvis naturally settles into a more balanced alignment. By the 5th or 6th day, many people notice changes beyond pain reduction. Breathing feels deeper. Tension in the hips and thighs softens. There is a general sense that the body is working with itself rather than against itself. These shifts aren't dramatic or explosive. They are calm and stable, which is precisely why they last. Perhaps most importantly, the body starts to remember. Muscles that were once dormant begin to engage automatically. Tight areas no longer dominate movement. Instead of constantly needing to fix the back, the system maintains its own balance throughout the day. Pain, once a daily companion, fades into the background, not because it's being suppressed, but because the conditions that created it are no longer present. The most important realization in this process is that your spine was never broken. It didn't suddenly fail you, and it doesn't need to be aggressively corrected or endlessly managed. What it needs is cooperation from the rest of the body. When the foundation is restored and the right muscles resume their natural roles, the spine does what it has always been designed to do: adapt, support, and move without pain. Lower back discomfort is not a sign of weakness or age. It is communication. A message from the body asking for balance, space, and a return to natural alignment. Ignoring that message leads to compensation and chronic tension. Listening to it, even for just a few minutes a day, opens the door to lasting change. 90 seconds may seem insignificant, but repeated daily, it becomes an investment rather than a quick fix. It shifts the body out of survival mode and back into a state of coordination and ease. Over time, relief stops being something you chase and becomes something you maintain without effort. The invitation is simple: give your body the chance to reorganize itself. Try this sequence consistently for a week, not with force or expectation, but with curiosity. Pay attention to how you sit, how you stand, and how you move. You may discover that the pain you once thought was permanent was never meant to be there at all.